What is up, everyone? Welcome to the MJT Football Channel. We are live with our Pickems for Week 3. Joe, Tony, I challenge you. What's up? We're back.
Challenge me to what?
Let's get this thing going. We're gonna be submitting our picks for every game of Week 3. Here are our records real quick. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications before we get started. I'm here with the J and the T and the MJT. Tony, Joe, how are you guys doing? Not the best week for us last week.
Well, I'm doing good. And I will say this. Jets game
Yikes.
was a killer. The Ravens game was a killer. Like, I should have been a lot better than 7-9. A lot better than this. That's all I got to say. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying I'm better than 7-9. Don't judge me on the 7-9. Judge me on being in first place overall.
There were a lot of comebacks last week. It was pretty insane. But yeah, if you guys are wondering the format, the 8-8 record here by my name is what I did last week, as in week 2. And then the week before is the previous week 1's record, total 15-17. Joe, you got a bunch of 8s and 16s there. How you feeling about going into week 3 here?
I feel like Jeff Fisher right now. I don't know. I'm sitting here 8-8. I was going like this because I could have had a lot of games go the other way too, like Tony. And somebody, I put this on my TikTok, and somebody goes, "How'd you go 16-16?" I go, "It's easy. I picked between 32 games. I got 16 of them right, 16 of them wrong. That's how I went 16-16. It's that simple." All that. But anyways, I don't know if you guys know. It should be great news for you today. It should be great news, no matter what your record is. Taylor Swift halftime show, baby.
Oh boy, that's the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen this, the reel already. I just put it up right before here. We went from Dr. Dre and Eminem to Taylor Swift.
Only the Super Bowl, right? Can you make pivots like that?
You're welcome, Arizona.
In AZ? Are you kidding me? That's going to be electric. I can't wait for that. It's going to be a ton of fun. Yeah, I've been getting dogged on for my one game less than 500 record on TikTok as well. Guys, it's week 2. Relax. We're going to string off a bunch of one-loss weeks in a row, and this thing's going to turn around, and we're all going to be laughing about the 15-17 start by like week 5.
Well, that'll start next week, I'm assuming, because I saw your picks.
Oh, no.
Okay, before we get into it, like this week, I saw my picks, and it might start next week too, because I don't know what. I went a lot of road teams this week, and
I noticed that too.
It was bad. I don't know.
I noticed that too, and I was live with my pick. Jeez, what's the echo going on here? This is live, ladies and gentlemen. I was live on TikTok, and they were like, "You picked all road teams. How do you think this is going to happen?" Like, road teams rarely go over 500 in any given week, but all of the good teams are on the road this week, in my opinion.
I think all the favorites in my mind are on the road.
Yeah.
And speaking about road teams, we did excellent last night.
Yeah.
Starting off 0-1 this week, by the way. So all of our loss records, add a loss to it. I was just thinking that the Steelers own the Browns in a game that's hard to call. Why would they still own the Browns? Jacoby Brissett is why.
Jacoby Brissett has now had back-to-back good starts. This is 2 in a row of, what I told you guys Jacoby Brissett was capable of. He was capable of Baker Mayfield level play, and that got the Browns to the playoff.
I should have believed in him earlier, Tony.
The Steelers defense looked tired last night. They looked tired, and then you could just tell in the third quarter when they had Chubb and Hunt just running down their throats, they were just like, can we get this game over with now?
Yeah, well, Matt Canada and Mitch Trubisky and Mike Tomlin didn't help their defense at all by having like 3 and out every possession.
Yeah, I should have picked the over on the Steelers punts. It was on there. Instead, I bet against Jacoby Brissett, and he lit me up for like 20 fantasy points.
And if you're playing fantasy football, or you had the over in the points, that last touchdown on with no time left helped you out if you had Browns defense or the over.
Yeah, at the end, the commentary was like, well, that might not have meant nothing to most people, but I know a few people are celebrating out there somewhere.
Oh, it meant a lot. Yeah.
Probably millions of dollars in a swing there with that pitch into the end zone. Well, 0-1. Let's go to game 2, Joe. Let's go to game 2. Oh, man. Oh, we're starting off with my favorite game of the week. We got the Las Vegas Raiders, 0-2. Going to see the Tennessee Titans, 0-2. Two playoff teams from last year, 0-4 combined record. Tony, how do you decide which team is going to be worse in this game?
I looked at the injury report for the Titans, and I know they're at home, but their offensive line is really banged up. Now, I think Derrick Henry is going to have, like his best game of the year to date, but that ain't saying much because it's been that slow of a start for him. So even if he does get, a 100-yard game and a touchdown, I just think the Raiders have enough, although I'm not going to lie. I was a little worried when I saw that Denzel Perryman has been out of this game. I think that makes it a little bit easier for Henry to also break out in week 3. But I'm going to lean on this being Devontae Adams, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 10-catch game, kind of like what he had in week 1. And if the Raiders let me down 2 weeks in a row, Joe, I will never pick the Raiders again. I don't care if they're playing a Pop Warner team from Bakersfield. I will not pick the Raiders in another game if they let me down this week.
You know who's undefeated calling Raiders games? This guy. You know who's completely defeated? That guy. Joe, what's your opinions on this game?
Win! A win, Tony! Look, I don't care. This has to be the bounce back game. I don't want to get too much into it because you guys can go watch the Silver and Black Allegiance right after this show. Follow me over there, plug over on the Silver and Black Allegiance, and I'll break it down a little bit more, give you a little bit more stats of how Derek Carr performs against the Titans in his career. One of the best, one of the teams that he dominates normally in his career. So here we go. Titans have a lot of injuries. Raiders have a lot of injuries. Every team has a lot of injuries, and it's only week 3. It's crazy, but Raiders have to bounce back. They can get away from the 2 home games that they just played, get out of here, get away from the crowd a little bit, and they'll be all right.
Go out to Tennessee, make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are both going with the Raiders. Everyone on TikTok has been telling me, Mike, the Tennessee Titans are going to lose to the Raiders. You guys said the same thing about the Cardinals. I didn't trust you. I went with the Cardinals, and I was correct. But there's been some convincing arguments in my comment sections for the first time in MJT football Pickems history, I'm officially changing my pick right here on the air. Hopefully this doesn't jinx anybody. I'm changing from the Tennessee Titans to the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm convinced by your arguments. I'm convinced by TikTok's arguments. Let's go Raiders. Raiders going to win this week. On to game 3, Joe.
No. The graphic don't lie, Mike. Graphic don't lie.
I am picking the Raiders, not the Titans.
Nope.
It's out. It's the Raiders. I mean, come on. They got Devontae Adams.
Nope.
Next game. What are we even talking about here? We got the Cincinnati Bengals. We're all 3 on the Bengals again on the road against the New York Jets. Week 1, were we all on the Bengals? I think so. They played the Steelers.
No, I had the Steelers in week 1.
Okay, so we 5 of our picks have been dedicated. 5 of our 6 total picks in the Bengals have been dedicated to the Bengals this season, and they're over. They turn it around, Tony?
I think they do, and it has more to do with them playing the Jets than the Bengals actually being the same Cinderella team they were last season. So the Jets, I was very tempted to pick them, and then I thought about how they won that football game and how bad it was. They should not have won that game. Didn't win week 1. Like, it was such a miraculous fashion. I was almost sucked into the hype of how they won that football game. But that type of play is not sustainable. You can't build off of that miracle final 2 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever for Flacco and onside recovered kicks and all the other nonsense. So I think the Bengals get it right, and maybe they only give up 4 sacks this weekend. Maybe only 4.
You know, when I was making this graphic and I was doing it, I was like, man, I might go with the Jets because I'm not happy with what the Bengals perform. And then I was like, no, once I make a pick, I stick with it. Unlike some people, this is the Bengals are the pick that I'm taking. I already put them everywhere. I don't go back and try to jinx anybody or change anything up. The Bengals have to get it correct. If they lose to the Jets, last time Bengals and Raiders went 0-2 in the same season, they met in the AFC Championship game, just to let you guys know.
Y'all come up with some crazy stats sometimes. Like, where do you even dig these things out of?
That's not happening.
Joe, jinxes aren't real. Jinxes aren't real. I've switched to the Raiders. The Raiders are going to win. Yeah, I really feel like in this situation, I know it's super early on in the year. The Bengals are a young team where stacking up losses is going to start to affect it for the entire season. This is winner. This is a must-win game for the Bengals, in my opinion. They need to go in there. They need to take care of business. I've been telling everyone, like, should we trade Jamar Chase? Should we trade T. Higgins? Should we trade these guys? Like, no, they're going to get going eventually. I think this is the week they get going. Backs against the wall. Joe Burrow comes out and has a great game, and all of his weapons get fed, and the confidence gets turned around here in Cincinnati. I agree with you, though, Tony. I definitely think that this Bengals team, especially in a division that now has a healthy Ravens and a Jacoby Brissett balling with Cleveland, they might be in trouble for a letdown this year when you look at the season, when we look back at the season. Got to win this game, though, Joe. If Joe Brees doesn't win this game, like, the conversation with him and Herbert should be dead. This is 3 in a row at this point that he should have won.
Yeah, I don't know. I told you guys this last year during the playoffs. What did I say? I said the Bengals didn't even make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Remember last year when I was all on my like anti-Bengals platform? They're still a good football team and they'll figure it out. I don't like all the conversation too about is Zach Taylor on the hot seat? You just went to the Super Bowl. Give the guy more than 1 year of transition. So it's crazy.
Well, the Texans will. We're going to get to the Texans game. Whisk Cheese. Appreciate you tuning in. Whisk Cheese. We're going to get to the Texans game. Subscribe, like the video, turn on notifications. Appreciate you. We got the Buffalo Bills on the road in Miami. This is my game of the week. I don't know if this is your guys' game of the week. There's one other really good one with Tampa and Green Bay. But this is going to be a fun game, in my opinion. We got another track meet. I called it a little bit last week. I said that's going to be high scoring. The Ravens and the Dolphins are going to go at it. We're going to see some big plays on both sides, both the Dolphins offense and the Ravens offense. Tony, we got 2 more explosive offenses matching up this week with Miami and Buffalo. You're taking Buffalo, but how concerned are you with that pick? Also, Micah Hyde, he's dealing with problems. He's out. Micah Hyde's out. I think he's the biggest injury for this game.
Oh, it's not the biggest injury, but go on.
Who else is injured?
You'll see.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe Joe's going to change my mind on this one. Doesn't matter. I'm sticking with Josh Allen. He's 7-0 against the Dolphins. He's not affected when they go down to Miami. He's playing the best football in the NFL right now, I think, just sort of doing whatever he wants out there. So I'm going to ride with that. I think they have enough on the defensive side. Everybody seems to love the Bills defense just a little bit more than I do. I think until they get back Trey White and he's healthy and ready to go, I'm gonna have some concerns about the Bills overall, but in this game, not too much. Again, we talk about sustainability. What the Dolphins did in the second half of the game, that is not a recipe for winning a lot of games in the NFL. It was exciting and it was fun, and I give all whatever kudos, flowers you want to give to Tua. Fantastic game. Fantastic second half by him. That's not sustainable.
Yeah. Not a whole game. Not a whole game. A half, quarter. Tony. Yeah. Tua did a second half great performance, all-time Hall of Fame for performance for Tua in the second half. But then again, Miami gets lucky again in week 3, and they go against a team who is a good team, but with no secondary. That's what happened with the Ravens last week. Everybody got banged up. And now Buffalo's whole secondary / defense is almost going to be out. Ed Oliver is out. Jordan Phillips, Micah Hyde, like Tony said, or Mike said, Jordan Poyer, Dawson Knox. All these guys are not going to be playing this weekend. The Buffalo Bills are all hurt, banged up, not ready to go against Miami. But that's not changing my mind because I don't believe in Tua. Tua goes from 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions this week.
6 interceptions. Yeah, and when you go and look at the first half, it was a terrible half by Tua to start the game. So polar opposites in that game. I agree with your sentiment, Tony. I agree with you, Joe, that the Dolphins got a little bit lucky with the injuries and that Tua is not going to be able to keep that up all year long, every single drive for the rest of the season. I'm going with Buffalo also. These are the games that Buffalo needs to win for my 15-win projection to be close. Like if they hit 14, I'm taking credit on that projection. And they need to win these games. They need to win this game. They need to win both Patriots games. And they're on pace to go ahead and do it.
That was your ceiling, right? Your ceiling.
My ceiling pick, 15 wins. All on the Bills this week. Go Bills. We're not Tua haters. We're Tua realists.
We got a revenge tour next, Mike. Revenge tour.
Oh, boy. Carson Wentz. First game in the NFC least, I believe, which is, right now the best record in football is the NFC East. We got the Washington Commanders hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles undefeated. Commanders 1-1. Tony, you going to keep riding these Eagles until they're no longer hot?
Yeah, another team that is playing pretty much good football around. I mean, special teams, I guess they got the kick blocked last week, but they're just playing fantastic football. And why wouldn't you pick Jalen Hurts, this run game? I think this is even a game where they might be able to get Miles Sanders going even a little bit more. Maybe Dallas Goedert down in the red zone, continuing like he's already involved, but he's there. An opportunity for him to take advantage of some linebacker play. The Eagles are the best team, and if they're going to be the best team and they're going to reach that 12 wins that I projected them at, these are the kind of games that they have to win. And also, too, like, how much is Philly just going to love beating Carson Wentz?
Yeah, and that's the thing with Washington. Washington has basically no defense, so they're like Carson Wentz has to do everything, and if he's not performing well, then that team's not performing well. It's all on the offense, and it's not a great offense. It's a good offense, and it's fun to watch. But we just saw the Detroit Lions come out here, put a big lead up on the Commanders, and the Eagles. They're great. The Eagles are winning over. I'm winning over with the Eagles, man. After what I saw from then against the Vikings, I was like, I'm this close from being on the Jalen Hurts train. I tried to trade him to Tony this week, but Tony didn't want him. So I'm close to being like, woo, all in on the Eagles. Close, not yet.
You wanted a lot for him.
Let's be honest. You wanted a little bit too much. I'm with you guys on the Eagles. I think that they prove that they're a legit squad against the Vikings. Like, you should beat the Lions. You should be able to outshoot Jared Goff when your defense is a lot better than the Lions' defense. But that Vikings game was a real test. I still thought the Eagles were a better team. That's why I picked them to win. But it still was a real test. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, these guys can turn a game around quick, and they can put up points on the board quick. And the Eagles' defense stood in there tough, took all the licks, basically shut them down, and got the dub there in Philly. So I'm going to rock with the Philadelphia Eagles until there's a sign for me not to rock with them as well. Go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Straight to the NFC Championship game. Ooh. And we're all on the away team again. We got KC, who's undefeated, looking good, unfortunately, this year so far, other than, the 3 interceptions they got called back. But we won't talk about that. Going to Indianapolis to play the defeated Indianapolis Colts. They have not won a game. Houston, Jaguars, no wins. Tony, what's going on in Indy?
I'm not fully panicked on the Colts, and I won't be. I don't think that this game will sway me either way, because even if they were healthy and right and everything was going good, I still think they lose this football game. So we've seen Frank Reich start slow before. It's not a good look. It's not what you want for them. But the Chiefs are better football team. They're moving in the right direction. I'm actually like a little discouraged with how Patrick Mahomes is playing like a grown-up. Like he's doing a little less of the hero ball, which I hoped he would still be trying to do with guys that are much less talented than Tyreek Hill is. And I think that continues. They're still incorporating a run game. The defense is playing well, even for incorporating new pieces. The Chiefs are still one of the best teams in football, and this is a game that I think is pretty easy for them. I'm not calling a blowout, but I could see this game getting to 10, 13 points in the fourth quarter at some point.
Yeah, I was real close from switching to the Colts because at one point they got to start clicking. Michael Pittman's back. Leonard's still out again. But there's always a game in the season where the Chiefs look like crap. And they get high and everybody's like, they're playing real high. And then everybody's like, oh, the Chiefs are done. And this might be that little trap game where they're like, hey, we're riding high right now. We can go play the Colts. Frank Wright gets his team ready to go, and they beat him down. But I couldn't, I was like, no, I'm not going to talk myself into that. I go, stay away from it. Stay away from the Colts. But I think this turns out to be a closer game. I think Jonathan Taylor goes for over 100 yards in this one, and the Chiefs defense gets a little bit exposed. I think this is when we finally see what Matt Ryan can do with the Colts. But Kansas City's offense is going to be too much for that defense.
Yeah, and I think if the Colts won last week, I would be on the fence about going onto the Colts side here because all they're going to have to do to be better on offense this week is get Jonathan Taylor to that second level. The Chiefs obviously lost Tyrann Mathieu, who was their best tackler in the secondary. He's gone now. And once Jonathan Taylor gets to that second level, they don't really have guys that are going to be able to bring him down. He didn't have a lot of big plays. The problem is that would be the game plan against Jacksonville also. And Jacksonville just said, you know what? You guys don't have any receivers. We're just going to shut y'all down in the run game. And you got to throw out wide. And Matt Ryan and those backup receivers couldn't do nothing. Literally nothing. So the Colts get shut out. 0 points. The Chiefs get 10 days to prepare for this game. I got to go with Kansas City. I got to give them some respect for how they've started this year, especially their defense. I got to go with Kansas City. I want Indy to win so bad. I hope Indy wins.
So bad.
And then we got split here. We got the Houston Texans on the road in Chicago against the Chicago Bears. Joe, you're going against Justin Fields. Tony, you're rocking with Justin Fields. What's your thoughts here, Tony? And Joe, I need an explanation on this one.
It was a coin flip. Like, which one of these second-year quarterbacks is going to play better with I actually think the weapons are better for Davis Mills. I just think Justin Fields has a chance to show off why we're excited about him. Get out there, use the legs. They got to throw the ball a little bit more. They just it has to be in the game plan. Or who's the guy they brought? Luke Getsy, the guy they brought from Green Bay to work with him. And they've thrown the ball like less than 25 times. You know, like Joe Flacco throws the ball 28 times a quarter, it feels like, for the New York Jets. And they're not even letting him look downfield. Maybe that's the offensive line. I do think the Bears can squeak out something that's ugly here. You know, some win that you're like, wait, how did they get to, 29 points? Like, how did they get to this like weird number? How many field goals did they kick? How many extra points and safeties happened in this game? Bears at home. Come on, Bears.
Joe, against Fields?
Just trust me, I want to go with the Bears, and nothing makes me want to root for the Bears more. Look, I told you guys know that I got this right here. Bears!
Okay. Bears fans, real quick, before you guys start to be like, yeah, I'm Joe's biggest fan. You pull that off of your floor, balled up in the corner every time you use it.
It's here. Just whenever I need it, it's right there, ready to go. But I don't know. Texans have been looking good. Their defense, I think we've underrated their defense a little bit. And the Bears got me last week because I've been a big Justin Fields performer. And you let him throw the ball 11 times. That's all you gave him? Like, I don't know. I can't give him week one because week one was a rainstorm and against the 49ers. And I throw that one out the window. I'm looking at last week. And did you see what the Texans did against the savior, Russell Wilson, last week? They shut him down.
He threw the ball more in a pouring monsoon than he did on Sunday Night Football. Like, explain that one to me, Luke Getsy.
Yeah,
that's why I can't go with the Bears. It's like I don't get what they're doing.
Yeah, Tony, you're convincing me to change my pick on this one too. I'm gonna stick with the Bears because I feel like Fields has looked improved in spots this year when they've allowed him to look improved. Hopefully, against the Texans, you're a little less scared of that defense than you were of the Green Bay defense potentially, and they do. Put some faith in Fields. Let him go out there and try and take over this game, which I believe in Fields' ability to take over a game when you take into consideration his ability to run the ball and throw the ball more than Davis Mills. No offense to Davis Mills. He's got a long neck, but it's not going to help him in this game. Next game,
opening drive against the Packers, if they do that, I mean, come on, play like that. That was amazing. That opening drive was amazing.
I was at Chili's watching that game, and when that opening drive happened, I was like, they might win this game because I already knew, even against the Bears, that Green Bay was not putting up no 35, 40 points. Like, this offense is not the same. They're going to have to keep possession and run the football. And if Justin Fields goes off like he did in that first drive, the Bears are going to upset him, but no. That was the last time they scored, huh?
Yeah. Let's go to the next game, but I'm more concerned about why you were at Chili's.
Chili's, baby.
Chili's? It was my dad's birthday. But anyways, we got Saints at Panthers here. We're split on this one again. Joe, you could either have a huge comeback week or a huge downfall week with these picks. Tony, you're rocking with the New Orleans Saints. No worries here from Jameis Winston. What are you thinking here?
Have you watched any of the Panthers this year? If you have, you should know, do not pick the Panthers. I was listening to, who was it? I was getting the kids ready for school. I think it was Skip, and he was just talking. He's like, look, they only lost by 3 to the Giants, and they only lost by 3 to whoever the Browns or whoever in week 1. It's like, but they're losing, and they don't look impressive. And every time I look up, DJ Moore seems to be either open or uncovered or whatever, and he's not getting the football. I have been a humongous supporter of Baker Mayfield, and I think in the right circumstance, the perfect circumstance, which he had in Cleveland, he can win football games. He does not have that circumstance for the Panthers. Now we go to the other side. The Saints offense needs to figure out what its real identity is, and I don't believe that identity has anything to do with Jameis Winston throwing the ball 40 times. So you've got Mark Ingram. Alvin Kamara should be back for this game. Maybe even a little Tony Jones Jr. I'm going to go with the Saints to defense and finding an offensive identity. Taysom Hill, run the football.
I was celebrating when I saw Tony Jones Jr. made the roster. I thought he was going to get cut. Joe, how are the Panthers going to win this game? CMC said it in his presser today, like, y'all be putting me on the injury report if I go and take a leak in the middle of practice. You need to leave me alone. If I get injured, I'll tell y'all. If I get injured, I'll tell y'all. I will not be at practice. But what are you thinking here, Joe, picking the Panthers?
Well, I'm telling you guys, I don't think Winston should be playing. He's still on the injury reserve. He needs to get healthy. They need to sit him for a game. They're going to have to run him back out there, and he's going to get hurt again. And he's going to make these mistakes that he made last week. Alvin Kamara is out, more than likely going to be out again in this game. You guys saw it last week. The Saints offense isn't what you thought it was going to be. The Saints defense was supposed to be this great defense, and I'm a little disappointed in it. And trust me, I've been on Tony's Matt Rule is going to be gone by Thanksgiving train with them. But for somehow, some way, they pull this one out. This probably is Baker Mayfield's best game of the season right here.
I'm not trying to get people fired.
I'm wrong with the Saints. I do believe in the defense. That's the biggest thing for the Saints. I saw them shut down Tom Brady for basically that entire game. Few penalties gave the Bucs a chance to score in that game. And what's up, Afix? How's it going? And I think that the Saints defense is just going to give the Panthers offense fits. The Saints need to score 21 points to win this game. Come on. Give us 21. Give us 21, Jameis. You got us, buddy. Let's go on to the next one, Joe.
Before we go to the next one, Albert Kamara said Josh Jacobs not traveling with the team. He is sick. He just got put on the injury report right now, but he's dealing with the illness. So
that's not good. I just picked the Raiders to win. Not already things are going wrong. They ain't even gotten on the plane yet. Damn it. But anyways, we're all agreeing here. Baltimore going to New England. Baltimore's defense, like you said, Joe, was dealing with some injuries and fell apart in that game last week. Tony, not too concerned about Mac Jones being able to replicate what the Dolphins offense did.
No, I don't think so. So last week when the Patriots had success, it was running the football. I think what the Ravens would do better is stopping the run, right? So now you're going to ask Mac Jones to have all this success downfield with Nelson Aguilar. Like, I haven't even seen Kendrick Bourne this season, Jacoby Myers, a 2 tight end scheme. I just don't see that happening. I was close to switching this pick because of the Lamar Jackson elbow injury. Like, I do think that's a bigger thing. I know everybody wants to make the joke that the guy's a running back. He's throwing touchdown passes all over the place, people. Like, he's throwing the ball downfield. Like, he's a good passer.
This year, he's been elite throwing the ball, Tony. It has been beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some stuff in there where it's like you'd like to see him be like a full-on pocket QB, so that I could see his career going into his mid-30s, late 30s or whatever. But he's looked really good at throwing the football this year. And I think that there's a little bit of anger from the Ravens, and it's going to be taken out team-wide. It's going to be taken out in New England this weekend.
You got to imagine that they're not going to fall asleep any point in this game. They're going to be balls to the wall the entire thing. Joe, you're with the Ravens as well.
Yeah, you guys already know my thoughts on the Patriots this week. They got lucky and beat the Steelers team last week. That's trying to get it together, learn some stuff over there. I'm not buying the Mac Jones, and I'm not buying anything Patriots. Ravens are the better team going in. I mean, there's a reason they play the games. You can't go off of paper, but if the Ravens lose this game, then you got to hit panic mode in Baltimore.
Yeah, I agree with you. They shouldn't have dropped that game to Miami. They should have won that game. This should be a 3-0 Ravens team after this weekend. I do think the Ravens are across the board a better team. And they just had some more depth, too. Y'all saw they signed JPP. Some more depth to the D-line in case they deal with injuries throughout the year like they have in previous years. I'm going with Baltimore. I think this could be a rout. Patriots aren't looking good this year, Joe. Your little Patriots prediction is looking better and better with each week.
Tony, you down with JPP?
I'm down with JPP.
JPP's in.
Yeah, you know me.
Throw him out there.
Only thing good about this graphic is that Broncos. I like that Broncos orange helmet right there.
I don't like anything Broncos orange, but yeah, I guess it looks kind of cool with the horse breathing fire or whatever the hell is going on in that logo. But I saw on the radio today, or heard, didn't see, listening to some talk, and they were saying that with everything that's changed for the 49ers since the last time they played Russell Wilson, it seems like nothing has changed for the 49ers since the last time they played Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson against the 49ers. Russell Wilson against Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, Tony, you're giving the edge to Jimmy Garoppolo?
I am. It looks like the Broncos COVID helmet. It looks like the horse is sneezing and they're warning you to like cover your mouth. I don't know how I feel about this orange on orange crime. I'm going to go with the 49ers in this game because the Broncos have not looked good. They've looked disconnected from the coaching to the players to the time management to everything. And now I'm supposed to believe that on Sunday Night Football at home where your fans were just booing you, that somehow things are going to get better. And the team kind of weirdly seemed a little happy that Jimmy G was back at quarterback. I don't know if you got that from anybody but Kyle Shanahan, whose future is on the line for how much stock that they put in. I can't envision a world in which all of a sudden a team that's struggled gets it together when Nick Bosa is going to be tearing them in half by like halftime of this game. Like Russell Wilson, you need to duck.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy more than likely is not going to be playing in this game. And then who's their cornerback? Surtain?
Yeah.
He's more than likely going to be out. 49ers, I hate saying them. But who do you pick? I hate both of these teams. I hate both of them. I don't want to see either one of them win. I want to see a tie. This should have been the one that Tony goes with the tie for. I don't want to see either one of them win, but I do want to see Jimmy G go out there and prove some doubters wrong. It'd be funny if he goes out there and lights it up. But I want to see another bad game from Russell Wilson. And I want to be like, Bronco country, let's ride. Bronco country, let's ride to another loss to the San Francisco 49ers. And Couch Potato, one of my guys that I follow on Instagram, had a very funny video. So if you guys go check it out about this, I'm not going to repost it because it's not family friendly, but it's very funny. Go check it out.
He's a Broncos fan. But Joe, is there anything on that injury report that you're reading on George Kittle's status?
Who's George Kittle? Never heard of him.
He's questionable, I think, as well. But that'll just be a little bit even more juice for the 49ers offense. Look, the Denver Broncos offense has been awful this year. They've been bailed out in both games by their defense. They squeaked away that victory in Houston. They probably shouldn't have the way the offense played. And in Seattle, that game wouldn't have been close if the defense doesn't go after the Seattle offense the way they did. Now you're down Justin Simmons, down Pat Surtain on the defensive side of the ball, two of your best players in your secondary. And it's not like you got a good matchup this week. This is not Houston. This is not Seattle. You're playing the 49ers. This is a team that has a roster that can contend legitimately. The Broncos needed to be at midseason form to win this game, and they are not going to flip that around in 1 week from terrible to midseason form. There's no way. They got a lot of work.
You saw what Afix said. Afix said Kittle's good to go. Shanahan said he will be surprised if Kittle is not on the field this weekend.
A little bit more juice for the 49ers prediction.
Yeah, I think it's going to get kind of ugly for Nathaniel Hackett in the first half of the season.
Because even like in the run game, how much does Kittle do? How much does Kittle add? How many yards does Kittle add in the run game just by being out there and basically being an extra tackle that is as fast as a receiver? Like they're going to run all over the Denver Broncos, and then Jimmy G's going to start hitting them with that play action. It's not going to be pretty. They got Debo also going at him.
Yep.
Yeah, and Nathaniel Hackett's taking a lot of heat. He's taking a lot of heat, and you got to wonder how many more games they're going to allow him to keep messing up. Like basically, right? That's what he's doing is costing his team. I don't know if he's costing them wins, but he's costing them some major time on the clock, some major decisions he's been going the wrong way with.
He's definitely costing them the best chances at winning these games so far.
Yeah, you see how difficult it is to do this. And I don't know if he's calling plays too, as well as managing the game as a head coach. I think that's one of the things that's overlooked is all of the different responsibilities that a head coach has to do. And then if you were to add play calling to that, that is a lot to be able to process in the speed of an NFL game.
Yeah.
Gotta be special.
Anyways, I'll move on because I have a lot to say about Hackett, but I'm just glad it's happening in Denver. I'm just happy. I'm just glad. One quarterback away. We're seeing that championship team once they got their quarterback, right?
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is probably like, you guys look like you're having a bunch of fun over there in Denver. I made the wrong decision for sure. We got the Detroit Lions going to Minnesota to play Minnesota Vikings. Joe, first the Bears. You turn on the Bears. You turn on Justin Fields. Now you're churning on your MVP pick and offensive player of the year pick, and defensive player of the year pick, and coach of the year pick. Joe. All right, Tony, you go first. Why are you taking the Vikings?
Taking the Vikings because they are back where they're comfortable, and that is not in prime time. Kirk Cousins is throwing for 4 touchdowns this weekend. Justin Jefferson's going to have a big game. I think Adam Thielen is going to get in the mix too, and Dalvin Cook. Like, I just think this is going to be a big game at home for the Vikings. The Lions are good, and they'll put up a fight, and they'll score points in this game, and they'll be competitive. I just don't know that they get the win on the road in this week, and I'm going to go with the Vikings having people going, well, what team are they? Are they the team in week 1 and 3 or the team in week 2? Like, we don't know about it's like, we don't know any of these teams. Like, let's get to November before we make up our minds. But I think they win this game.
Joe, you're taking the Lions. Does this mean you're changing your MVP pick to Jared Goff?
No, but Jared Goff is playing really, really good, and he is worthy of a roster spot in fantasy football. But the Lions are putting up points. You can't deny what the Lions have done the last 2 weeks. 35 points. They're one of the best offenses in the league right now. They figured it out how to put points up. They don't know how to stop people, but they know how to put points up. And this is going to be another shootout with the Vikings, and I picked the Lions to win 10 games. I know I was high on the Vikings, and I picked the Vikings to win 14, but I like what the Lions are doing. I got very disappointed in the Vikings in their performance against the Eagles. They made me look dumb, and I'm going to make them look dumb by taking the Lions over them.
I've always been like that this Kirk Cousins primetime thing is a myth, but the last 2 times I've really sat back and watched it and been like, let's see what's different for the Vikings on primetime. Nothing's different. He just plays awful. I don't know what it is. There's some kind of pressure in playing under the lights versus playing during the day that Kirk Cousins can't get through his mental. And I think every game that it happens, it makes that pressure pile on even more. I think the Vikings go back to the way they played in week 1, and I think that they not maybe destroy the Lions, but beat the Lions convincingly. Maybe we see another failed Lions comeback attempt. It's something I've seen a million times out of the Lions over the last couple of years. They do have a lot of young talent on offense that is starting to look like some of these guys are legit. Talking about Swift, talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. I am not talking about TJ Hawkinson, but Amon-Ra and Swift. Those 2 guys are looking to be what they should build this offense around in the coming years. I'm still going with Minnesota. I do think this will be a fun game to watch, though. So tune in if it's on your TV, guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay, said who's gonna stick Justin Jefferson? Nobody, because it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be a shootout.
Who's gonna stick Amon-Ra St. Brown? Felke. The same question goes back.
He's getting the Jeff Okudah shadow right there.
Yeah.
And
DeAndre Swift still has his injury that he's still on the injury report, but last week he was on the doubtful or whatever, and he went out there and still performed. So it's going to be a good division game, high scoring, and I just traded Cook for Swift, so that's why I had to flip it. That's why I had to go to the other side.
So your picks are influenced by who you need to do better in fantasy football. Let's go to the next one. This will be a fun game. You guys, oh man, here we go. Tony,
Joe Morley.
Tony, just go ahead, Tony. Jesus.
You gotta be shitting me with this one. Now I hope you're 7-9 this week.
7-9. They've all been different than you, Tony. You're hoping he goes 0-17.
No, he's had some different. He's had a couple different ones, but not that many. So this game is a lot closer. We just did nuts and bolts, which will air at 5 today, and I have this as a 26-20 Chargers win. I think it's ugly. I think that if Herbert plays or doesn't play, the game plan needs to be solid defense and figuring out how to run the football. Now, that scares me a little bit because I do think that the Jaguars' front seven is underrated. Oluokun and Devin Lloyd have been playing really good. And the guy that I said should be the first pick of the draft, Trayvon Walker, looks really good. Daniel Jeremiah did a breakdown on him. Film study, little quick thing. He's fantastic. Everything. Very polished. As a Felke, again, don't come visit us for the first time in a long time and then say nice things to Joe Morley. That's the worst thing you could do.
You think you took the Cowboys, Felke? We'll find out.
Talk about the Jaguars.
Duval! Jacksonville Jaguars gonna come in this game, gonna come in here hot after just knocking off the Colts, who they own. They're gonna travel across. They get to face Chase Daniels. Like, people are like, oh no, Justin Herbert's gonna play. He ain't playing. Justin Herbert ain't playing. Get that out of there. You can't. I know everybody's excited and they want to see what the Chargers offense can do, but I'm not really high on that Chargers offense right now. I haven't seen a lot from them. I know what they did in week one. I know what they did against the Chargers, but come on. Mike Williams is going to get shut down again for the second time in 3 games just because he goes off against Kansas City. We're going to be leaving him. Where's Austin Eckler been? He hasn't been around. He's going to get shut down. The only thing the Chargers have going good for him is their defense, but Trevor Lawrence and these wide receivers, Christian Kirk, going to go for 2 titties this week, and the Jacksonville pulls the upset. Doug Peterson, good job.
Joe, last year, the Chargers started off slower than this on offense. The Chargers are right now top 15 in points and top 10 in yards still, so they're above average. Their offense is playing way better than the Raiders' offense, and you pick the Raiders. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing them out there. Not trying to start any fights or anything. I think Justin Herbert's going to play in this game. If he was going to be out for this game and they thought that he was going to miss this game, I don't see them practicing him this week. I see them going full rest, getting ready for Houston the next week. But even if he doesn't play in this game, we have the more shutdown defense than the Jaguars, even though they shut down the Indianapolis Colts. We still have receivers out wide. Keenan Allen's 50-50, but we still have Mike Williams. We still have Josh Palmer. Austin Eckler is not easy to stop when you consider that he can catch those screens out the backfield. He can do the draws. He can do the outside zones. And the Chargers are putting a lot of faith in Zion Johnson. They're running up the middle. The Chargers take a huge hit in down the field passing by losing Justin Herbert. But the rest of this team is still better than the Jaguars, and they're going to beat the Jaguars even without him if they have to.
Yeah, and you credit them for a big win over the Colts, who haven't won there since Andrew Luck started growing his full neck beard. Like, it was impressive, don't get me wrong, but it's been that's like their tuna.
Vegas don't even believe in you guys.
They have us as favorites. By more than a field goal, they have us as favorites without our starting quarterback.
It doesn't matter what I say, because you guys are going to be like, Chargers this, Chargers that. Doesn't matter what I say. All that matters is when Jacksonville beats you guys down and I get to see you guys after the game crying.
Well, you're lying to these poor people saying Vegas is saying the Jaguars are going to win when they're literally saying they're going to lose.
Oh, man. I hope Tennessee goes balls deep.
I'd change my pick back to the Titans. Let's go to the next one. Does anyone think the Jaguars are winning? Let us know in the chat if you're tuned into this.
Oh, shit. I thought I was going to have a little separation on this game.
A little solo party over there. What's your thoughts on this game, Tony? Maybe the last Brady versus Rodgers matchup, unless they see each other in the playoffs this year. You're sticking with that bad man who's not been playing so bad so far this year. What's your thoughts?
It's more about what Brady doesn't have than about the Green Bay Packers. If you told me that he even had Mike Evans or Chris Godwin in this game, I probably would be like, oh, he'll figure out a way to incorporate Russell Gage and Cameron Brate, and all of a sudden we'll see the rookie tight end we haven't seen at all have a couple big catches, and whatever, Rachaad White will get a couple good screen passes. The offensive line is really banged up. I think that the pass rushers for the Packers can put pressure on, and then they have a secondary that can be very opportunistic. So I just think defense to health, and the fact that maybe we might get to see Romeo Doubs breakout game. I don't know. They talked about having him a little bit more of the game plan. Fan of that young man. It just seems like too much is going against the Buccaneers right now.
Yeah, the Packers have a lot of injuries at wide receiver, and like Tony said, we might see Doubs, who everybody dubbed as the greatest wide receiver coming out of Packers camp. We haven't seen anything from first 2 weeks. I'm going with the Packers too because, like Tony said, the injuries on the Buccaneers are piling up. It's not just one little group. It's every single part of that team has a major injury somewhere, and it's just. I think Green Bay is too good of a team to come out there and not have 100%. They got I think Tom Brady looks I think he's going to look really, really bad in this game. This is going to be the game where we're like, is Tom Brady old? He can't play no more. And then, of course, he bounces back and does whatever he does the rest of the season. But this is the game that we go, dang, Tom Brady maybe should have stayed retired.
Yeah, the Bucs offense has been bad this year. Like, they have struggled. There's been a lot of frustration on the sideline. There's been a lot of yelling from Brady at refs, at wide receivers, at running backs, at everybody. And even there's a play in the game last week where I don't know who got it wrong. Brady hands it off. Leonard Fournette's running a zone to the left, and the entire line is pulling to the right. They ran the wrong play. Someone ran the wrong play, and they get stuffed on 4th and 1 there, and Brady's chewing everyone out on the sideline again. It is not looking great for the Bucs. Early on in this year, and now they're dealing with a bunch of injuries and a bonehead Mike Evans suspensions. Like, you have punched Marshawn Lattimore in the face every time you played to Mike Evans. You don't need to punch him in the face anymore. We've been doing this for 5 years, and every time you punch him in the face, you do not need to punch him in the face anymore, but he gets suspended anyways. I'm going with the Packers for the same reason as you guys. The Bucs' chance of winning this game is that the defense absolutely shuts down Aaron Rodgers. Doesn't happen very often. Aaron Rodgers is still an amazing quarterback, even with the lack of weapons maybe that are in Green Bay right now.
Keep swinging, Mike. Come on.
Yeah, Tony's on the Mike Evans was worth it train, but
punch him in the face. That's my quarterback right there.
Trade the game. Maybe Mike should go over to like one of the backup O-line and be like, hey, I need you to go knock out number 23 for me.
Yeah.
And Green Bay, hand the ball to A.J. Dillon. Give it to A.J. Dillon all game long. Get it done. Packers. Woot woot.
Those two backs are a lot of fun to watch. One of the more entertaining back duos.
Your boy Phil K said, "Look what happened 2 seasons ago." I don't remember what happened 2 seasons ago. We're talking about COVID season. We ain't talking about that season.
In the playoffs, yeah, the Bucs won. Ballsy call by Bruce Arians. Scotty Miller up the left sideline right before halftime. And here you are, Tony. You look disappointed. Everyone's on the Falcons. You wanted to get some differences in these games, I'm assuming.
I did. I thought that these were 2 games where I was at least going to have one of you on the other side. To me, this just comes down to Geno Smith. I'm not sure that he can pull this one out. I think the Falcons have played pretty good football for about 6-7 quarters, right? Like, there's some teams like the Dolphins that are 2-0, and I think that they've played like maybe 3 or 4 quarters of good football. And there's a team like the Falcons where I think they've played a lot more, sustained good football. I don't know how good it is, but it's sustained. And then now they're 0-2. So I don't know what to do. I just picked the Falcons because I thought it was going to give me an edge. I'm kind of tempted now to just take the 12th man with the Seahawks just to try to win a game here because I really don't know. Like, I can't make a strong case that they're going to wise up and use Kyle Pitts like they should. I don't know. I'm going with the Falcons. Who knows?
What'd you write down?
I thought you wanted to be on the Geno Smith and you wanted him to hold a sign up that says he's back. I'm back. Geno Smith is back. But you jumped off the Geno Smith bandwagon quick. You're off of it. You're going with the Falcons. I'm going with the Falcons. The Falcons seem to be the better team. I don't know. They're both at the bottom. They're both fighting for the number one spot in the draft. So this could be the determination of who gets the number one pick. But I just think the Falcons overall have better talent, which is not saying much, right, on both these teams. And their offense look good. Their defense is playing a little bit better than I thought the Falcons defense would be playing, right, in the first two games. So I just can't trust Geno Smith like Tony can.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. A little mixture of both here. I think that the Falcons have played better this year, even though they're 0-2, and the Seahawks are 1-1. And I think that they have shown more on tape of what works so far, and that they can lean on that kind of stuff in the big moments that they need it on third downs and in the ends in the goal line to go. Because even in that failed Rams comeback, they started to put together some real impressive drives on that Rams defense, and it started to really flow. Marcus Mariota got into a little bit of a zone there in that second half. If he can get into that zone early on in this game, Falcons are going to win this one.
Well, yeah.
Desmond Ritter season. And look at this. No one is taking the Cardinals. Everyone is fading the Cardinals. What do you think, Tony?
This game was closer than I originally anticipated. For some reason, there seems to be a real letdown with the Rams this year, like maybe not as much focus or cohesion or whatever it is. But I give the edge to available talent, right? Like maybe if D-Hop was healthy and it was later in the season, I could see myself picking the Cardinals. But as of right now, I think they can go in and they can squeak out a victory in this one. 18 targets to Cooper Kupp. Hopefully they sprinkle in a little Allen Robinson. That'd be nice. He paid him $15 million. And Aaron Donald is got a chance to have one of those kind of games that we're talking. Did you see Aaron Donald throwing people aside, 3.5 sacks, strip fumbles? Like, I'm going with the Rams in a close one on the road, like 27-24 type game.
Another road game, Joe. Be careful what you say about the Cardinals here, because I'm going to use it against you right after you go. But go ahead.
Cardinals suck. They got lucky last week. They got lucky that the Raiders took their foot off the gas pedal, and they came back. They got some lucky plays. They got a lucky call by the referee. Look, the Cardinals are who we thought they were. They're still the crappy Cardinal team. They're still coached by Cliff Kingsbury. All the Raiders' victory did was help the Cardinals keep Cliff Kingsbury for another year of mediocrity football down there in Arizona. You guys didn't do anything else, and the Rams are going to come out there, beat you guys down, and Arizona is going to go back to being the same bad team that they were.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals might suck, Joe, but I'll tell you who doesn't. Kyler Murray, who put that team on his back. They told me Max Crosby's good. He didn't look good. I'll tell you right now. Kyler made Max Crosby look like he's 5'8" instead of Kyler Murray being 5'8". But I'm going with the Rams. I think the Rams are a better team than the Cardinals, just like you do, Joe. I've been on this take even since the first game that the Rams dropped, that every game they're going to get better and better and closer to that form that they were in down the stretch of last year, and we're going to see them hitting their stride in the middle of the season. And this Rams team is going to be one of the best in the league still, as we expect them to be with all these stars on their roster. I'm going with the Rams, but Kyler, man, Jesus, what nuts.
Joe, you keep saying that your team took the foot off the gas. You should make sure they're not driving an electric car, because that could be the problem.
It could be. Like, yeah. You need to do something.
I heard Lamar Jackson might be looking for a new home.
Trade Vegas. Oh, you know how happy? Well, I would not be happy. I would not be happy at all that we had to play Lamar Jackson twice a year. But Joe having Lamar Jackson as his guy that he would have to defend, he would lose his mind.
Or what if Kyler ended up there? That'd be even better. But oh damn, Phil K saying trade Hunter Renfrow. Offended by your Cowboys take here, Joe. He was on your side earlier. Tony, you're going with the Cowboys though. Tell Phil K why they're gonna win.
The only one here with enough stones to take the Cowboys on Monday night against the vaunted 2-0 late game field goal New York Giants at home. I don't understand how the Giants are 2-0. Congratulations that they are. I think the Cowboys have the best player in this game, and he will be the difference maker. Micah Parsons is the best football player in this game. It is going to be on Monday night. LT said he's going to be in the building because he wants to see this kid that everybody keeps saying is as good as him, and I think that is going to fire him up to get in there. Yes, that Lawrence Taylor, that LT is like, let me see what you got, kid. And I think he's going to bring it. And I think he's going to have some big plays in this game. And I don't mind Cooper Rush. I jokingly said it a few weeks ago that there was going to be a QB controversy. But at some point, like, Cooper Rush is just fine. Obviously, you're still going to play Dak, but he's fine at quarterback. He's not nearly as bad. Do I think there's that much of a discrepancy between Cooper Rush and Daniel Jones? Cooper Rush? What? The scale is falling over.
Jerry Jones also said that there's a QB controversy. He's the owner of the team, so pretty credible source. Joe, why aren't you taking the Cowboys, man?
Because I believe in Daniel Jones and the Giants, the G-Men going 3-0 under Brian Dable. Look, this game has I don't know what the over-under is in this, but it's going to be a 9-6 game. This is going to be field goal. It's going to be some crappy play, a little big plays that they drive, maybe like 3 or 4 missed field goals. It's going to be ugly, but it's going to be a game that we're all going to be like, at least the Cowboys lost, and we can talk crap to, and we can say, Cowboys, you still them boys? You still them boys?
Hull up.
And Cooper Rush's picture is going to be on the meme there with Tom Brady. Popping in there. Hey, I'm going with the Giants too. I want to take the Cowboys. I want the Cowboys to win this game. I just think the Giants are healthier. I think that they're playing good enough to put their kicker in position to win games so far. Who knows? Micah Parsons could take over this game. And your argument, Tony, almost convinced me to change. But I'm going to stick with the Giants, my original gut feeling for this game. I have no idea who's going to win. I think it's going to be a terrible Monday Night Football game. It's definitely a matchup that we've all been waiting for, though. So hopefully it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah. Cowboys are 9-1 against the Giants in the past 5 years. Well, they haven't played these Giants.
We opened up week 3 with primetime Brissett versus who was in the Trubisky, and we're closing with Rush v. Jones. This is the worst primetime opening and closing matchups I've ever seen. And we always
got Taylor Swift halftime.
We always get one of these Cowboys-Giants games in primetime at the beginning of the year. It's always like Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. It always happens at the beginning of the year.
Don't you worry. At some point, we'll get to see Gardner Minshew versus Cooper Rush probably this year too. When they have to play the Eagles.
It's 4 backups in primetime. It's 4 backup quarterbacks that we are watching in primetime football. And really 5. If you look at on Sunday night, what they did to Jimmy G, they tried to make him a backup. Russ will be the only one that has franchise material written on him, and that's just because they're paying him $250 million.
That's it. That's our picks for this week, y'all. If y'all weren't here for the whole thing, please rewind, watch the whole thing, see who we picked. Why is this guy talking trash about Justin Herbert?
Yeah,
he's a Raider fan. Darren's a Raider fan.
I don't ever talk trash about your quarterback.
Yeah, you do all the time. That's why you get banned on TikTok.
But anyways, I'm going undefeated this week, so you guys should have just copied my picks, and it would have went well for both of you.
Yeah.
What's up, Raiders squad?
Raider fans coming in. Hey, Raider fans, after this, jump on over to the Silver and Black Allegiance page.
Oh, you going live right after this, Joe?
Yeah, you guys should leave now. Leave now and head on over there.
Yeah, go to the Silver and Black Allegiance page, but first subscribe to this page. like this video. Let us know in the comments your picks. If you guys want to join the challenge, you can join the pool and join the challenge. The link is in the description of the video. It's easy to submit your picks. It'll take like 5 minutes. Just go down there. Time is running out. Don't worry. You got nothing to worry about. We're all 0-1. So it's an even playing field. If you miss Thursday Night Football, they'll leave your picks in. Anything else to plug, Tony, Joe, other than the Allegiance show?
Tighten up.
Go Derrick Henry.
Hey, I already told you, Duval. I'm in 6th period class. Oh, you're watching this in class? Ooh, I like it. Tell your other classmates turn it on too.
We should give him like an embarrassing dare to do. I dare you to pass the phone around and tell them all to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Darren.
That's not embarrassing. That's not embarrassing at all.
Anyways.
You gotta stand up and shout, I wear the same eyeliner as Derek Carr. I need you to stand up and shout that in class.
We got to get better on our picks. They're coming. It's still early in the week in there. We still have faith in some teams.
Who'd you rather have in your squad? Would you rather have Carr or Chase Daniels?
Really?
It's a tough decision. I know you have to think about it for a little while. Get back to me next week.
I gotta go pick up my kids. Let's get out of here. I can't deal.
See you guys later. Next week we'll be doing our Pickems, same place, probably not the same time, but we'll see you there. Peace.
Dude!